Hello, and welcome everyone to a new developer stream here at Limbic Entertainment. And today I have the honor to have another guest here in the stream, and this is the amazing Martin. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's hot as hell, but that's probably everywhere, right?
That's true. Who are you and why are you here? What you are doing at Limbic?
Who am I? I am one of the main writers on Cove. I got the honor along with our wonderful Julien and a couple external friends. I joined Limbic like 2 years ago, while Cove was already in like full swing, and I got the honor to basically, work with all the material, work with Julien to basically bring this world to players and let them enjoy like a really nice, cozy pirate fantasy.
Yeah, so of course today we are talking about the story, the writing, the voice actors, of course. Mm-hmm. So everything that has to do with like the narrative of the game, which is pretty cool because from all the parts in the game where people can talk and complain about, I think the story is something like everyone is loving our story. The graphics, of course, how the game looks, and also yes, exactly. And although the story, this is another point. Everyone loves it. Everyone is saying like, okay, it's crazy how a game like Corsair Cove, like a city builder, has such a great story and cool characters and good written characters and funny dialogues. So yeah. Are you excited, Chad? You wanna hear something about how this all was created and what was the inspiration and everything. So yeah, so maybe we can start with, before we go into the game and look at some narrative stuff of the game. Of course, the intro video and the all the writing, like the lines of the pirates and everything. Before we start, maybe the question. So, how was it to create like the writing and the story, like in general, for a game that is not an action adventure or not an RPG, but a game that normally is in a genre that is not typical good for its story,
Yeah, I mean, there are city builders with like really nice stories.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely something that is, like you say, it's not an action adventure. It's not a Naughty Dog game or something like that, where you got the story as the main focus. So it's definitely always a bit of a challenge. But at least what I usually like to do is to look at the game, like to see all the elements, to see what like people always focus on, what they enjoy. With Corsair Cove, it was a very interesting experience for me because I joined the game basically mid-development. So there was already like, you look at the graphics, you see like what the art team is really enjoying, putting pigs everywhere, making this like these really cool, exaggerated buildings. And it definitely helps you find a tone. To say, because pirates are a very difficult topic. If you ask somebody, okay, what is a pirate? What is like your ideal pirate adventure? You ask 10 people, you get 8 different answers. Some like the really dark, gritty pirate stuff. Others like something that is a bit more jovial, exaggerated, like we are. And that was definitely very helpful to say, okay, this is like the tone we go for. And let's just have fun and enjoy ourselves. So
sounds good.
That was the main thing going into this project.
Perfect. Cool. So I guess it makes sense to just go in the game, right? If you have questions, of course, to Martin about like the story, about the writing, about the voice actors, you can just put it in the chat. But let's change our screen and go into the game. And of course, we are starting from the beginning, the story mode, because it makes sense. Love the female captains. What was the idea? So maybe, do you mean what was the idea, or maybe what was do we have some inspiration when it comes to the characters in general?
I can definitely share some inspiration. It goes a little bit into, you have, for example, Chen Fei Hong. I'm probably mispronouncing her name. I'm so sorry. Who was definitely inspired by, very famous actual pirate queen from the Chinese seas. And that goes along with like a lot of our captains. There are some that are rather unusually, like for instance, Honorata. We didn't really have any like main reference. We had like Dutch trading companies, and she's like in law she's like the daughter of like a rich trading company mogul or what you say. Oh, okay. But she's more like an unusual character. Then you have like Scarlet, who's like the really poster child, firebrand, pirate captain. Love her. Like a big fan of a movie that famously sank pirate movies for at least a couple decades, Cutthroat Island. Okay. Love that movie. I know why people don't like it after I watched it like many years later, but it was like a big part of my childhood, and Scarlet definitely has a bit of like Morgan in her, which is the protagonist from that. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. And but now let's start with the story mode from the beginning. And maybe you can already talk a little bit about our intro cutscene. Because, it feels a bit like the story is beginning in the middle of something. So how did you come up with that?
So this intro was here to solve like a very interesting problem, which is a question that came up in development all the time, which is like, why would like all these different pirates stick together on an island and build something? We had to like make a couple things very clear. The crown is everywhere. It is in this case especially like I love this shot, which is like very oppressive. You can basically say, okay, this is the fate of all pirates right now, or at least that's what the mood is. And then like this one spark basically enables them to escape. That's I think that's the exact thing Rumbulian says. And you have like the harrowing escape, like Lisa doing like wonderful shots here, the big Dynamedian music coming. Like this cutscene was a bit of a dream come true. So this basically answers all your questions on why these pirates are on this island. And why they want to build a haven. They have to get some sort of like, they have to get back on their feet. And it's not like, in the very beginning, like there's people like Honorata who say, hey, let's just build a ship and get out of here. And it is actually Rumbulian, the one who has the bomb and frees them and secretly tries to keep everyone together, who says, we'd be fools to leave Honorata. Love Kevin's voice. And this is just the start,
Who is this Kevin that maybe some people already heard about and suggested, hey, it could be this Kevin.
Yes, so it's Kevin McNally. I think you already mentioned it in a couple of streams. That's like Mr. Briggs, I think. His name from a very famous pirate franchise. Funnily enough, we did not request him. It came through like our casting director. If you're listening, I love you. And he was basically because we wanted a narrator character. We didn't really know in the beginning how often like the individual pirate captains could talk. What situations they would be in. So we decided to say, okay, we need like a narrator who kind of like leads you through the game. Like Rumbulian, even still, like he talks in a lot of like the adventures that you find out in the Seven Seas. So that makes sense. He had more lines than anybody else by far. And then, our casting director comes along and says, hey, would you like Kevin McNally? We're like, who's Kevin McNally? you Google him and you get Mr. Briggs and you're like, oh,
I knew him.
Yeah, he's got like such a, instantly, like I could easily instantly hear him in my head. I was like, if we can get him, all for it. And it was such a great decision. It was also, funnily enough, it was fairly convenient for him because he lived not too far away from the recording studio from Liquid Violet in London. And yeah, he's just such a lovely person. You know, you got the feeling that he stood up every morning, you know, read his newspaper, and then he just swung on his bike, came by, recorded lines for us in like, he like most of the time he nailed like all of his lines. You know, you really saw that, you know, he got what we were going for. We had some very interesting talk on, you know, how distinct this character should be. Because, you know, we didn't just want to copy Mr. Briggs, obviously. And, you know, he managed that immediately. And then we just basically enjoyed the ride he took us for. Yeah. So, yeah, Kevin McNally, awesome. Yeah, it's always great when you have the feeling you work with extremely talented people. Yes. So now you know how I feel every day with all you guys. Oh, but look at this guy. But one more thing, because we talked about the start of the story and the intro cutscene and how it came to that. We wrote something about that. It's called Legends Before the Storm. Indeed. So here I posted again. Here it's on Steam, and this guy wrote this masterpiece. So yeah, read it if you're interested in the story. It's pretty cool. It's like the prequel story of all the different main characters we have in the game. Yeah, there is another question in the chat. Who is Martin's favorite character? Who is it? I was dreading this. I mean, by the way I'm talking, I think everybody can guess that it's actually Rambulian. It's easy because, you know, I'm the writer and he's kind of like a narrator insert. If I can cheat and I can pick Rambulian, I can definitely tell you that Blackbeard is my spirit animal. Like, if it was like, okay, who was the easiest to write? It was definitely Blackbeard. Because, you know, it's not like, you know, I see myself in Blackbeard. It's more like I just envy Blackbeard for how just blunt and direct he can be. And he just says what comes to mind. It is still like such an awesome presence. I love Blackbeard. Enrique is a close second.
Okay, Enrique is also cool. Yeah, I mean, we already have this scene. I don't know if we come to that point, but it's already in the demo, even not just in the final game, where you build your first ship. And he's talking about the floating turd. I mean, pretty much every streamer we saw, it was so funny to see the reaction when they saw this or they heard this line for the first time. It's really, really funny. And how do I pronounce this name? Dipoma, maybe? I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Thank you so much. That's great to hear. 24 hours straight is crazy, man. Please don't forget to drink and sleep. This is important. But of course, we are so happy that you have fun with the game. Hello, Whiskey. Hello. And thank you so much. Are there any other famous voice actors in this besides, maybe somebody from Shadow Game It. Who is this guy?
It might be somebody, you know. Hey, Lucas, I love you. No, not actually somebody from Shadow Gambit, that's true. Game I worked on before. Also not the same recording studio, but still based in London, right? So there might have been some overlap. No, not really. Famous, I can't really say. Like,
maybe we have someone in the chat.
Huh? There's someone famous in the chat? Or what do you mean? But okay, what is the question?
If you have other famous voice actors in the
game. Not really that I can remember, like on that level of Kevin, which is not to say that all of them weren't like lovely people. Basically enjoyed working with all of them. Like it's, you know, there's this you know, image in your mind where like, okay, you're making like a game like this where everybody just has fun doing it, right? You know, it's like cool pirate adventures, and you know, you're just having like a lot of like these sailors yarn stories out in the seven seas. Sometimes reality doesn't work that way, you know. Sometimes, you know, recording schedule is brutal, or you know, you get an actor that you don't really click with. I cannot say that for Corsair Cove. Everybody basically came in and had like the time of their life playing these exaggerated pirates, and I think it really, really comes through. Going back to Blackbeard again, let's just quickly say. I think it was if you scroll up, Edward Rowe, Edward Teach, Edward Rowe. It makes sense. Maybe it was just Blackbeard incarnated or reincarnated, but I always get the feeling, you get this big burly guy who's just missing like an anchor tattoo on his arm. He comes up straight from the docks to speak Blackbeard, but he's got this really polite manner, He's oh, that's what we're going for. Okay. And then the next thing he says is like, beauty, it's a floating turd, and everybody just laughs in the studio. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I have a simple question.
Good. Now let's empty our
Why is this? Okay, this is not a story question, so maybe this is a question for a designer, but why is the compass not a working compass? I get dizzy spinning my camera around the studio. Sounds fantastic, though. I don't think we are the right person to talk about the compass design. So maybe next time when I have the designer again for another story. This is fine. This is fine. Maybe we have someone in the chat who can answer it. What makes you guys choose Unreal 5? I mean, I'm not one of our Unreal tech guys, but what I can say is that Limbic is working for so long with the Unreal Engine. I mean, Park Beyond before that was created with Unreal Engine 4. I think Heroes of Might and Magic 7 was still Unreal Engine 3. I'm not totally sure, but I think. But we are working for so many years with Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was an interesting shift. Like last project I worked on was Unity. And just I'm pretty sure that the web of events that we have in Corsair Cove, the tools that Unreal gave us made it possible. It's a lot of custom stuff still, but just being able to work in flow graph and just see the narrative flow before you, and easily manage like all the different things that need to trigger from what resources do you need to like 2 quests ago players did this, and now in some special cases in the story now this has to happen. It was great. Like really enjoyed my time.
So lots of in-house knowledge already available. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally understand. I think it's pretty cool if a studio has their own engine and like totally pros creating this engine and stuff like that. But we have so many talented people here that are totally specialized on Unreal Engine and talking at DevCom or GDC about how you do things in this engine. So it makes absolutely sense. Let them live, spill their guts. Yeah. Writing topic. So how was it to write lines where people have to decide, or have moral decisions to make?
For this game, interesting. You are on a level that is not, you are one character, but you're basically managing this big city. Yeah. So making like a decision of, hey, do I execute these 2 people? It's just a click of a button, but it is your job, and I think it is like good to establish that the things you do actually, impact the way you go forward. Not in like, okay, this is going to be relevant like 100 hours from now or 50 hours from now, but just you make a lot of these decisions all the time, and you better get used to it. And we purposefully wrote it in a way that is like, okay, if you want to read this, that is great. It gives you a lot of context. Yeah. I can totally understand when players say, hey, I want these decisions at the bottom, and that is what we make it. It's kind of like a contract you have, with players. You don't get angry if they don't read something, but from the way that, feedback gets back of people like loving these stories, it creates a lot of joy, and that really, that really makes you feel like, it's nice, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Massive congrats to everyone at Limbic, one of the best releases this year. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you are one of the voice actors, right? You can you're totally fine if you can put in the chat who you voiced. I'm pretty sure. Let's see another question. I love the voice lines. Thank you.
I have actually. I remember one character, one voice actor who I worked with before.
Yeah.
The one voice actor I specially requested is for Raven.
Okay.
My favorite slimy, greedy pirate who's only out for wealth in here. That's Stefan Kornikat.
Okay.
And we got the concept for that character, like who he's gonna be, and me and Camille was the narrative manager at the time. We looked at each other and were like, we need Stefan.
Okay.
And I don't know, how many people like Raven, but I think that voice fits him just like a glove.
Yeah.
I actually worked with him before on Shadow Gambit, where he voiced a completely different character, a very nice No, not really. He was also a slime ball, so maybe it's just Stefan,
Maybe, yeah. I have to see, and we have some questions also from YouTube. I'm not verifying the story yet, but the voice acting is a perfect fit for the game. Not a question, but thank you so much. So nice to hear. I've been playing for like 4 days now, still on first map, so cool game. Nice. Shadow Gambit was an excellent game as well.
Oh, thank you.
We have a fan.
More pirate games.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you watched Iguanoma.
Yeah, I knew it. In the German version. I knew it. This name sounded familiar. Any tips for someone that would love to break into the voice acting world? Where do you start? I mean, you are not a voice actor, but maybe you have a tip.
I'm neither a voice actor nor a voice caster. Maybe Linny. You have
Linny,
some tips for that. I have no idea.
Yeah, so we have a voice actor in the chat. Maybe you can give some tips how to get into voice acting, of course. It would be great if the Marvel choices had cascading effects further down the line. The little stories really help immerse myself into the world. Can you explain why this is not a part of the game? Is it just because it's technically too difficult, or maybe there's a reason from your side?
It's definitely not technically too difficult. The main reason was that we had a lot of content we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And this had been basically at the same time we were also like developing all the regions. So we didn't have like we didn't have like the luxury to say, okay, this will definitely make it in, this will not make it in. There was always a possibility that you cannot rely on a piece of content that is down the line. We have a couple very sparing examples where it actually matters. I don't know if you played Audencia's story, but there's like a big choice in there, and of course, like the main story has, I think, the choice I am most happy that we could still put it in. But overall, the main answer is we would love to do it more. But for the main game, it was safer and also more practical to say, hey, we keep the stories fairly self-contained, and what we rather want you to do is like have this big tapestry of closed off stories, kind of like you sail out and you get like a mini episode of a story that happens in the Seven Seas for you to enjoy.
So
and then you get outrage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tutorial outrage. This is fine. I think we just have to wait until everyone has food.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I came to a point where we have some more texts or lines from the pirates where you want to talk about, just let me know. But so far we just have to wait until the outrage is over.
Yeah, that word outrage, it's just, I think I chose that.
Okay.
Ever since then, I'm like, why didn't I call it mutiny?
Okay.
Which will also be very fitting. Played too many board games in that time.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, now we did it. And now we have the...
Yeah.
Moonshine said this is all... I also like these lines here.
Yeah. Ah, yes, a treasury. Or perhaps a high-class brothel.
Yep.
She means a tavern, you posh idiot.
Yeah.
It's like channeling Blackbeard.
So let's see. Where do we place this one? Let's place it here.
By the way, for anyone who actually knows the game and wonders why you build a tavern here, because it doesn't really make sense in the flow, right? You need the tavern for
Your swabbies.
for your swabbies on your ship, and you don't build a ship yet. That's actually one of the rare cases where we had like the lines for the tutorial locked in. And it was an agreement with game design that, you know, it doesn't disrupt the flow too much. You also have a lot of a lot of boost then to basically immediately outfit your ship. You don't have to wait after you build your ship. It was a happy coincidence, I would say, even though it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Good. So we did not build a high-class Brussels. Yeah, we don't have this in the game as far as I know.
There is a building called Rising Sun.
Okay.
It's a principal building.
That's true.
I hope it's in Wealth because it's Kanja's principal.
So, yeah. Let us know if you have more questions. Otherwise, now we will come to this point we talked about.
We need a tavern keep in here. Coming.
You also still have to reestablish that Rambulian is actually the tavern keep on the island.
Yep.
I don't know how he manages when you build like, I don't know, 6 different taverns or 8 or 10. You build a lot, right?
Sorry?
You build a lot of taverns.
Yeah. That's true.
I must admit, this is starting to look like a little haven.
Starting to look like a little haven.
Did you miss me, pirate?
Did you miss me, pirate scum?
And Amara is coming in to ruin your day.
Yeah, you want to talk about a bit about Amara, how this came together.
I mean the sequence in general or just her character?
Her character and the sequence, whatever you want.
So her character was one of the ones that, you know, I basically took over from Julien. Rather different backstory, but we kept like the main things intact. And we just thought that she would be like a really nice antagonist to have. There was a lot of things we could do with her. We had a bunch of things that were long planned out that we were basically said, hey, why don't we do this with Amara? Make her like a bit of a recurring character throughout the game. Like you sink her ship in the beginning, but she comes back, you know, she always crops up again. Kind of like if she, you know, she's got a bit of like pirate notoriety in herself. And now she's just kidnapped your tavern keep. You don't really know why. I think you also have to be really attentive in the game to actually understand why she just comes and only kidnaps Rambulian. But that's for, you know, diligent people to discover. But, you know, we can't have that. That was one of the earliest beats that I worked on. That Amara comes and kidnaps Rambulian, and that survived basically all the way to the end here with the game. Because it's, you know, Rambulian is somebody you know. And it's kind of hard in like a game where you don't have like people with presence, you know. You have a lot of like pirates who enjoy themselves, but you have these captains, which are the face of the game, basically. And kidnapping Rambulian is just something that you cannot, you cannot let pass. We need to save him.
So now it's time for the famous line, I guess, right? Right?
It needs to be built first.
Yes, true.
Rata is so excited that you actually get a ship. That line must be credited to Camille, who left a big mark on this game. And, you know, I don't know if you wrote it as a joke, but I heard it and I said, this is staying in.
Beauty?
It's a floating turd. It's got such... It's good in every language.
Absolutely. Yeah, in German it's the
Kackwurst.
The Kackwurst.
I don't know what it is in French. Also, since
I have no idea.
You know, since we're talking about I wasn't present for the French voice acting. We had Julien for that, who is French and can
Makes sense to have
help,
someone who
them
can
far
speak
better
French.
than me.
Yeah.
But I was there for the German voice recording, and I can basically extend my praise to all the German voices. Like it was a real joy to work with. It was also, you sometimes you get translation voice acting, which is good, but this is like very based on the English voice acting. And you do it much faster. We really took our time with these lines. We got to learn the characters, and it was just an overall really pleasant experience. Enjoy your Iguana Ma lines in the game as well. So thank you for that.
So let's go to Barbos Bay.
Yes.
I think there was another question. Surulu in Spanish? I have no idea. Don't speak Spanish. Don't know if this is floating turd. I couldn't find the in-game sea shanties anywhere. Okay. About that one. So the sea shanties we have in the game, there are two different kinds of, I would say. The one that is playing in the town at some point, but you have to do some quests first. And the other one is every time when you have an event successfully, if you ended a quest successfully with your ship, then you can go near to your ship and you hear a shanty, and it's different for every ship. The tier 0 ship we have here, it's just like one instrument and no singing and anything. But if you have like a tier 5 ship, then it's much more than that, without spoiling too much. So that's more like an Easter egg, the shanties. And there was another question in the same text. Is it an original creation? Did you assist in writing it, or was that the music team?
The shanties, you mean?
Yes, the shanties.
Multi-layered answer necessary. So there's like the one in the main menu, come all you brave boys and so on. That was not written by me. That was actually written by Henry Avery, the guy who kicked off the golden age of piracy. He has a collection of poems. I forget what it's called. You can find it online. And that text was basically the basis for that song, which I think I listened to more than I want to admit. The first time I heard it, it's so great. Sung by the wife of the composer, so everything easily came together. The other shanties, the ones that play that are sung by Sean Dager, I want to say. I looked up his name. I can never remember. Awesome guy, awesome voice. Those were actually written by me. As a secret request. I don't know if you know this, but I was, basically the creative director contacted me and was like, Martin, I want to get these sea shanties into the game. But nobody's allowed to know about it. It's supposed to be a surprise. And then you have these secret meetings with, the sound guy, and he was like, this is like the melody I'm thinking of. Here's like an example text, and now basically do that for every principle we have in the game. I don't know if it, how well you realize it when you play, but there's 5 different texts for these shanties. And they use different instruments. They also get more and more epic the more your city grows, which I think is one of my favorite features in this entire game. And they basically tell the story and the goals of each principle. And those were also, having them sung by a guy whose voice I listened to a lot on like previous projects. Because he's like, a really famous like shanty singer, was kind of a dream come true. And I enjoy them every time they happen.
Yeah, makes sense. Now we should hear it. We don't have sound at the moment, but normally you should hear them singing.
Yeah, because you won, right?
Yeah, I won. Would be crazy to not win the first event.
It might have happened before.
Oh no. Yeah, so now
you
we
saved
broke
him.
out our tavern keep.
Yeah, and so there was tutorials are always the hardest. You usually do them last. In this case, it was we had like a very intricate set of events that were adjusted until until we basically couldn't adjust them anymore of what exactly is going to happen here, what you're going to get taught a ship, how to use a ship, how to do events, then you need to get taught how to build defenses for your islands, so there needs to be a threat, and it's like, okay, if Amara's ship is fixed up, she's going to come for us. We better be ready then. And so in the beginning, it is more, you figuring out with the rest of the team what exactly is needed to sell all the different teachings the game has for you. Or how to explain why new people arrive at your island.
Yeah. I mean, the lines we had after we got Rambolion back, I mean, Teach was already questioning why she was kidnapping Rambolion, so this is maybe some foreshadowing for
a little bit
that this is not that this was on purpose. Right.
It is something I think is never pointed at explicitly, but if you read the Legends Before the Storm Rambolion, it kind of tells you what his deal is. And there's some among the cast who definitely, toward the later game, make it clear that they know why Rambolion, was more kidnap worthy than the others.
Yeah. Okay. Let's fish them out. I would say, because we need more people actually.
It's also probably... Oh, as a noob, I enjoyed the tutorial very much. Thank you. Gonna spread that love to the designers as well. Because they I don't know how many iterations of that they made. But yeah, so, I mean, what this is building towards, right, is like you build your gun tower, and it's like basically your first real victory against Amara. It's like the first actually feel-good moment, or maybe the second, attacking her with like your first ship, even though it is a floating turret, is definitely nice. And after that comes the compass tutorial. Or how it was frequently called during development, the cutscene that tells you what to do, because it is not an easy thing to explain how you actually win Cove, even though it is much more easier to explain how you do the individual things. But there were some high concept things in there, like what exactly are the pirate principles about? What is the compass? What are these principal storylines that I follow? And I think that's the part that actually went through the most iterations of anything I've worked on. Just that cutscene, and how it fits together with everything.
How does the dice encounter thing work? Still don't understand it. I can look into it, but I need the next event going. Nailed her. Okay.
Oh, the French is literally floating turret. Excellent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It feels so childish to just enjoy something like that, but you rarely get the chance to do it.
Yeah. True. So now we should have enough people again.
But yeah, since I was talking about the principles, I think that was, when I was asked if I want to be part of this project, the first thing the creative director asked me, because he knew I had been working on a game about pirates for the last couple of years, and the prospect was to work on another, even though entirely different genre and tone, but he was basically asking me, "Are you sick of pirates?" And I told him, I can probably never be sick of pirates. It's just like a childhood fantasy that I can always channel, at least to some regard.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was that like the first task I was given was to figure out what it means, to be a pirate in the context of these principles.
Yeah.
Everybody knew they wanted 4 principles because it's the 4 cardinal directions of the compass, right? Which is also, why we had to name them in a specific way. So they start with the letters N, E, S, and W. And so there was a lot of thought there already, and I basically had to design like the definitive version of those principles. Yeah, we never really say it. I'm gonna tell you, when I was playing the first version of this game, the letters were very big on the entire map. You basically could not miss it. Now it's much more subtle, which I like because then it's like a joke you can tell. But yeah, so it was like, okay, what are all the different aspects of pirates? The guys who want to be rich, the guys who want to be powerful, the guys who want to be famous beyond everything, and the guys who just want to be out there on the sea and challenge the waves. And it also went like through a lot of iterations, but I'm fascinated that it could be pulled all the way through, and that I could really from like basically one page design could be expanded into these 5 different stories that just follow this principle.
So yeah, maybe now we can explain the dice combat again. So what you have here your stats, so the stats of your ship, and of course you have some specials of your captain, and your captain is also so which captain you have also has an influence on your stats here. So these stats are responsible for example for these numbers here. So for example, in here you have to close the distance to the target, so you need to gain meters. And if, for example, your speed would be higher, then it would not be 200 to 300, but more, maybe 500 to 1000 or whatever. And this is what you can get, like the minimum and the maximum. And it depends on your dice result if you get more the minimum or the maximum. So let's see. Now we can gain some meters, and we are throwing a 1, so it was just 200 meters and not 300 meters. So this is pretty much the whole system. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. Why you need bird poo to build something? Yeah, you can explain that.
Yeah, I can explain it. You know, sometimes you just get a list of resource chains from a game designer, and it's like, this makes perfect sense. Although, yeah, I mean, usually there's some sort of like research behind it. Also didn't know that. Apparently, you can make gunpowder from guano.
Oh, you really can, or was it just like a design decision?
You know, I could wing it now and say, yes, I definitely can, but I will be brutally honest, I never looked it up.
It's fine.
I can imagine it, you know?
Yeah, of course. I learned also a lot of weird stuff when you, when you look up pirate things. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these events, you know, it was very interesting to work with, because the system was also, you know, fairly, being iterated on fairly regularly, and we produced content for it in the meantime. It's like a real, basically narrative comes in and knows what all our sets of objectives are. We have these wonderful background scenes designed by Lisa, who, you know, the more we worked with him, the more like these are looking better and better. And yeah, it was basically our task to take all these together and tell little like event storylines with them. And I'm definitely happy that we always got Kevin or somebody else from the cast to at least give a little bit of context what they are about to like sell the fantasy.
Yeah. How much was the writing team involved in the event system design? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And fun details about earlier scrapped systems.
Oof. So I was there in the very beginning when it was pitched. Then it went to cook for a long while in game design. We still had like input on it because, like I said, a lot of things, as usual in game development, happen at once. And we worked with this very early on. There are definitely a lot of scrap designs on the ground. Fun details. I mean, a lot of things were discussed that I'm not really sure I can talk about, to be honest. But in the end, it was settled on this, all-purpose design that ensured also that, the content we had wouldn't break. That was one of like the very interesting wrinkles that we had to manage, because usually at some point localization is locked in. It was always shocking to me how early voice acting needs to be in the bag, because there's like a big tail of things that need to be taken care of. So even though I can totally understand that designers want to adjust the system and really fine-tune the details, at some point you need to say this is the content also needs to be ensured as well. And this is how we ended up with this fairly flexible design that is like, okay, it tells you a basic fantasy, you need a specific ship to do it, and also tells you a little story. I hope that answers your question, at least in some way.
Yeah, now Teach was had another line I love: "Rest in pieces."
And then he says a bad word, right?
Yeah, he blasted witch, I guess.
Wench.
Wench. Yeah. No, of course.
I had to get at least one wench if I'm in a pirate game, And if anybody's gonna say it, it's Teach. Yeah, so this is Rumbulian explaining all the different principles. And we have one cast member for every principle. And this was also, it was fairly late when these scenes came in, to just really underline what the principles are about.
I actually think this is something, from my perspective, I would think this is really, really hard, because on the one hand, you just have to straight explain how the systems work, but also it has to be cool and piratey.
Yeah.
So I think this is a balancing act, right?
Yeah, if you have Kevin McNally to explain it, that already helps a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, it, like I said, it was probably the cutscene or the entire sequence that went through like the most changes, because everybody knew that if people do not understand this, or it's like in any way, obscure, it is just hard to know at a certain point what you're doing and where you're going.
Yeah.
But I think it turned out really well, I gotta say.
Yes. Another Teach line: "If I ever see a ship worthy of praise, you'll be the first one to know." Yeah, true.
He's so mean to Honorata,
Yeah.
But I think it's just Teach. He's mean to everybody.
True.
Like there's like a character pair for each principal. So for Empire you have Teach and Enrique, and I thoroughly enjoy their back and forth, because Enrique, that actor, he brought like 200% to every line. If you ever hear him be really afraid of crabs, you know what I mean. And he was just, Teach is just the grumpy veteran, and he's like, he's still got so much energy, but he's he's like a really smart guy, who is basically he gets exactly what Teach is doing, Teach gets exactly what he's doing, and at some point, there's just this we are working together, even though Teach would never like admit that he how much he likes him, and that was just so great.
So, do we have another question? I don't think so. So, if you have more questions. Community events. Maybe you can talk a bit about community events and how these happens.
And those were interesting because they didn't come from us. This was, this is one of these things where it makes sense in design to have them. Because they disrupt your economy. It is something for you to react. Sometimes it is a chance for you to gain something because it comes at an opportune time. And it was surprisingly hard to find a good tone for this. In the end, it was mostly Camille who really tied them together. But you can't make it too dark. But you have to somehow handle the numbers. If an event tells you that you will be missing 40 people after it, you have to sell it in a very particular way. We had a couple of events that were like, there is some form of it in the game, so it might be a bit confusing me saying this now, but the plague hits your island. A lot of people die, and we were like, this is probably just plainly written what would happen in real life, but we need a bit more pizzazz for that. Yeah. It can't just be a dour pirate adventure, which I think illustrates how difficult the tone is, because you can easily imagine a game like this where the tone is exactly that. It's Frostpunk on the high seas, and everybody is barely surviving from scurvy and malaria and all that fun stuff. But since we had this tone where people dance with pigs while they're drinking booze, we needed to spice it up a little. So that was basically our involvement in the community events.
Makes sense.
Any building tips?
What do you want to know specifically? You like building tips? I can give you the tip. For example, if you build I did here a new pirate camp, already make sure you have a tavern, you have a galley, so all the stuff you need that's from the beginning. I mean, maybe you don't need a tavern from the beginning, but why not? And of course a storage, and maybe your own wood and sawmill production, so that makes sense. And if you need a few houses, but your pirate camp already is worth I think 25 houses, just already fine.
Just before I watched a tier list for principal buildings, the buildings you can actually unlock in the compass. Interesting choices there, like buildings I never really considered, or which I thought were super good, but the tier list apparently tells me they were rubbish, as tier lists do. I think a very early on thing to boost your economy is to build what are they called? The big balloon buildings.
Let's see. This one here?
Yeah, the crow's nest.
Yeah.
Because what it will do, it will give you gold for every time you open up a discovery point, even when you've already discovered the region. And every one of these you build will give you gold. So if you have a bunch of them, it is a very good way to get coin. And coin is always valuable. People are more valuable, but coin definitely comes a close second.
Yeah. So we just had it about the community events. Mm-hmm. So maybe a question from my side, because I don't know that. Of course, I guess game design is coming to you and saying, okay, the game design needs to be like this and that. Like we need to make sure that people have these decisions. So you already get the decisions game design want to have, and then you have to make a decision like which lines make sense that and are matching to you lose 10 people, you lose 10 coins or whatever. So is it like that, or is it sometimes that you also try to influence the game design that the writing is better?
It depends. In the community events definitely were game design led, because they are so intricately tied into economy and so on. What I was actually kind of surprised is how the game progression turned out. At some point we settled on this line of quests that you can do to finish the game, and it used to be just one. Then we said it was like one for every principal, and we came together with game design when this was fairly far along, and it is oversimplified now. People talk all the time with each other, so it's not like somebody is in a closet for 10 years and then comes out with like this brilliant idea. But it was rather a really nice coincidence that we wanted to do these principal quest lines, and there needed to be a definitive way to win the game. And then we, everyone came together and was like, okay, we should do that, and we should tie progression around them, which then meant that there needed to be more events in them. I think they were a bit shorter. But I was glad for it because, it gave me more time to flesh out these stories a bit. And that's how it usually goes, It is a back and forth, and that's the part I enjoy the most, when you influence design a bit and design influences you a bit, and in the end you get like a product that is like a compromise and makes both happy.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, let's see if we have another question. I love the choice of whales as encountered sea monsters. Why is it whales and not more classical animals like sharks or reaper leviathans? Is this purely an art decision, and you just have go with it with the story?
It would have been a decision I thoroughly would have supported. Sharks are cool. They might be a bit too small to encounter with like your big ship, unless you get like a huge swarm of them, which would have also been cool. But the reality was that we had one sea monster in the beginning, and because tonally, it was a bit unsure how many of them we want. We didn't really want a world that is so thoroughly fantasy that you basically sail 10 meters from your island and encounter like a swarm of flying krakens or whatever. But the opportunity presented itself to say, hey, can we have more cool things like that? And then we sat together with art and said, okay, we have ideas for this and this and this. We actually had one scrapped thing. I think we asked for like a big sea snake, and Simon, the art director, wisely said, okay, we can have that. We could also have a giant, I don't even know if I can say it because it comes late in the game. I will not spoil it, but it's definitely much cooler than a sea snake. And yeah, just even with the Kraken, they were really passionate about, Simon might have mentioned this in the art stream, right? Of the Kraken not just being a Kraken, but being like, I saw this concept of which looked more like a mix between a Kraken and an anglerfish. And that's basically, that went into the design. Just to be a bit more out there, with the dread whale, which you can meet fairly early on, which is a bit more than a whale, especially once you get to see him up close. So sea monsters were definitely a thing that we got more from than we expected, which everybody was happy about, and that we also decided they could be a bit more out there, and we didn't need just the classics.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Maybe you can talk about these other events we have that are not on sea, but maybe on land, where you have to do things like not shoot to other ships, but here have some adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like in the very early proposal for the system, that we do not just have ship combat, but we can just show you a variety of pirate fantasies, right? Treasure hunts, port raids, finding like a hidden treasure cave, exploring a temple, negotiating in like a native village, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I think like on the one hand, it is definitely nice for us to be able to tell these very varied kinds of stories.
Yeah.
On the other hand, of course, it meant we had a lot of like promise to fulfill here. And Julien really outdid himself when he designed like the really intricate things, like there is 1 or 2 temples you can go into that are much more than just 3 screens. There's a bunch of riddles in there that you can find the solutions to if you're attentive. And it was really nice to just say, okay, you don't just go out and fight with ships, even though I can totally understand if that is what people mainly want to do.
Yeah.
Because it's pirates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think these scenes alone in the background, I think we have 110 of them. Many of them are dedicated to like really special things, like you fight something like a kraken or maybe something a bit more out there. But yeah, overall, it just gave us like a really big canvas where we could say, hey, any story, any pirate story we could ever think of, we can do with this.
Yeah. Do you have any idea? I know this is a hard question. I'm pretty sure you don't know it, but maybe you can guess. How many lines did you write for the whole game?
Oh, you should have told me that question beforehand. I would actually have the number. I could. No, I really couldn't tell you.
So it's just too much, I guess.
I mean, it's not like I got numbers for 1 or 2 AAA games, not lines, but you got well over 1 million words when you're in that territory, and we definitely do not have that. But it is definitely more than you would think, probably.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, this is also an interesting one, an interesting community event, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple recurring characters. One of them is the gourmet. The person who came up with the gourmet also put his likeness into that image, for everyone who knows him. And yeah, it's his favorite character. Is a very funny character. This guy who basically goes around, wants to give everyone eccentric food that makes them sick. That is what happens in that event. And the only like sensible thing to do is to say no, and then everybody's happy that they don't have to eat that food. But he also has like one or two extensive quest lines, and it was very nice to feature him in a community event that you could, because one problem when you go out and here's this tiny story, you establish all characters very quickly, and then they are gone forever. If you have guys like this, or there's a zoologist that you meet in multiple quests, that you say, oh, this guy again. It's not just me hanging out here and the crown, and we shoot at each other. There's other things going on in the Seven Seas.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, there are so many there's so many text in the game in general, but totally different, like text that is just there for explaining stuff to the players, then text that is purely for the story and has no direct connection to the gameplay. Text for the compares and the community events and everything. The descriptions for example here for the captains. So my question is, what is the most fun to do for you? The thing where you know when you have to do this, you are excited about it or most excited about it.
That's a tough one. You mean only text or also things that are voiced?
Everything. You can
everything.
You can choose everything that's part of your job.
I mean, the boring answer is that if you can string up a very nice quest line, that is the most fun to do because you can tell an epic story. I can say, as much as this might confuse like a 10 years younger me very much, writing barks for these characters is one of the most fun thing to do, mainly because you realize people will probably hear them more than any other line you're gonna write. Yeah. When Blackbeard says the world is ours, that is just, sometimes you're lucky and you stumble upon a bark that it's just the right combination of words, the voice actor's really into it, and then it becomes like almost like a meme in the game. I really enjoy doing these. Otherwise, I can attest that Julien had the time of his life when he did those building descriptions. Okay. And when you're in the compass and it describes the different things. There's so many there's stuff like this where you have to explain what it is. But there's for instance, go to the rock here. And it says rock and roll and stuff like that. I think there's lead jokes and all that.
Powder monkey.
That's a cool pirate thing. And just the names for these, and then all of the buildings that you have in your building menu, they have descriptions. Some of them have jokes that are just so dumb, you have to love them. I came into a situation where Julien was like, hey, can you have a read over this? And it was kind of like the same with the third line, where I'm like, why should I change any of this? It is much in tone with the pirate vibes that Julien and me grew up with, which was the Monkey Islands and so on, a bit of that silly anarchy that is always nice to sprinkle in these types of games. So a lot is a pretty accurate answer. I'm sorry.
it's true. It's true.
I think we recorded for 2 weeks. I think was it for the main stuff.
Okay, that's a lot. So when you say 2 weeks, how many hours per day? Is like one record session?
So usually record for 1 or 2 hours. It depends on actor availability. We had days that were pretty packed with 3 sessions, multiple hour sessions that already brings you up to 6 hours. So for the main stuff, I think it was 2, maybe 2.5 weeks, but not every day was full with that. And then we had an additional session for Devil's Basin and Ship Graveyard. That I think was 4 days each. So you can pretty much, maybe that gives you a rough idea. You do what is it, one line every... I had the estimate at one point, it's not one line every minute. Maybe Linny, you can say, but there's a formula you can apply to that.
And what we also have, and I really like them, is a lot of different ships, and they have these cool ship names. I mean, now we can rename them, of course, but Did you came up with the ship names?
That was Julian.
Okay.
That was Julian.
Yeah,
a couple of them are definitely references to famous ships.
Yeah.
I really, really wanted a ship in there, kind of like an ultra ship that was called the Fancy.
The Fancy,
because that is the ship that is sung of in the main menu.
Yeah.
That's Henry Avery's ship. Didn't really make sense with the design. It's a very old idea, like that died pretty early. But you're looking for stuff like that. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that, for example, the best ship here on seafaring is the Neptune, of course. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I really love the names of the ships. Pretty cool.
I for the longest time I didn't know you could rename them. I wonder how many people rename the first ship to Floating Turd, to be honest.
I did this before, yeah. I mean, we this is pretty new, so we patched it for the release. It was in the day one patch. And also the pirate camps. Can also rename them.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. The Rapscallion Reef.
The Rapscallion Reef. What is the name of this one here? Let's see. The Shanty Shores. That's nice.
Love those alliterations.
Yep. So, do we have more questions? I don't think so. But, anything else from a story you want to mention, or you can tell a few more little Easter eggs or stories.
Now that I look correctly at the monster thing, would have loved to have a Reaper Leviathan in there, but not meant to be. But yeah, I mean, right now you are at the stage where you have to start like the final or the first principal quest, right?
Yeah,
and that was basically shortly before recording happened. There was like one more big iteration we could do over the story. We got a lot more, it was a lot more clearer what we could still do. And I think what I'm super glad that could actually happen, I mentioned it before a bit, is that it's not just the main cast who's involved in those quest lines, but also, a reference character from all the different factions. Like if you do Empire, you meet Enrique, and he's tied to the Tribe Alliance. If you go with Seafaring, you meet Charlie Lagarde. Who has a Cajun accent, which I found very entertaining, and just to have like two characters talking to that. Then Rambulian chimes in like, should we really antagonize like a really really spooky ghost ship, which you can meet very early on. And Scarlet is hell yeah. That's at that point, you have like enough angles to just tell a nice through line story for this principle, and that it didn't used to be that way until fairly late.
Okay.
Do you have any favorite quest line?
Quest line or character? I mean, you already talked about character, but maybe quest line. Good question.
I'm gonna out myself a bit there. I don't know how much I can say about it because it's like one of the main quests. But Scarlet's quest line and the people involved in there, including like whoever owns the ghost ship, is probably my favorite. It also has like one of my favorite wrinkles. I don't think this really is a spoiler. I'm gonna be very careful what I'm gonna say.
It's fine.
It's one of the things where I could really pay off what you did in the game. Because Scarlet is about notoriety, and notoriety is all about famous pirates. So at some point the game might actually react to who is actually in your crew. and we made that work with basically everyone. And that I think was one of my favorite moments that we could actually pay off. When it comes to quests in the Seven Seas, I don't think it's gonna surprise anyone, but the quest where you basically recruit a pig into your pirate crew, it's a team favorite. It's one of my favorites.
True.
It's got some very funny images. It has a ridiculous just chain of events that happens that everybody loved. And yeah, so the sailor pig, I think is what that quest line is called. That's just an all-around joy.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Question on YouTube. Any chance we get more content for the game? I mean, of course, we are working on stuff we cannot tell you right now. At the moment, we just pushed out today. Yeah, it was today. I really had to thought about it. Another patch that was like fixing more bugs and stabilizing the game and everything. So this is, of course, our highest priority. But we also think about what we can do. We listen to all your feedback. So please come to our Discord, or if you're on our social media pages or on Steam, give us your feedback, your wishes, what you want to have in the game, and what you want to have changed, and all your content you could wish for Corsair Cove for the future. And yeah, we cannot do everything what you ask for. This is clear, but yeah, we will have a look in everything, what we can do, what's feasible, and yeah, so this is great. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I think we can come to an end for today. Yeah, so understandable. Really love the island stories. Hope there are more islands in the future. Yeah, we will see. But yeah, island stories. Oh yeah, this is something we can talk about. So the different stories of the different islands. This is something very specific. So you have the main stories, but then all the islands have their own story. So how fun was that working on that, and how did this work out? I was very glad that we could do it. Because for quite a long time it wasn't really clear if we would do something like that. We always had plans. But Skull Rock was definitely the focus. So when we actually got the opportunity to do it, we needed to really take it, otherwise it wouldn't happen. And we knew which characters we wanted to do it with. It was, even though everything happened fairly quickly, it was really enjoyable. Like, everybody who knows me knows I'm a big sucker for spooky, creepy pirate curses. So Ship Graveyard was kind of a dream. Having this fun pirate story with Chen on Devil's Basin also was a treat. I think if there's one thing that I'm a bit saddened by, but that is not anybody's fault in particular, is that one of the voice actresses was not available anymore. It was Scarlet. It was just a scheduling conflict. That is something that happens. So if you ever play Devil's Basin or Ship Graveyard, you will notice that Scarlet is not really involved in the island story. Since the game is made in the way that it is, she's of course still present, and she has the principal quest line that she fulfills. But yeah, it is stuff that happens. I'm still very glad with how the island stories turned out, because the islands are super cool. It's just nice to be able to fill them with add a bit of meaning to things like the big sinkhole, the giant creepy lighthouse on Ship Graveyard, all that good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Did you write the description for that?
Yes, that is me.
I love the descriptions. Yeah, I saw so many people like on streams, content creators and so on for the first time in this Uncharted mode screen and reading the description and already are like, oh, that sounds so cool. Ship Graveyard, I think that's my favorite. And then they are going to Devil's Basin, reading the description. Oh, that sounds even cooler. I think that's my favorite island. So yeah, it's still something I personally love so much that the islands are not just a different map, you know, like a different map in a game like this is normally behaving, which is just another design, but everything is the same. Like the game design is the same, the story is the same. It's just really, it looks different. And here the different looks has so much impact on how you play, and the story of the island is a big part of that, in my opinion. Yeah.
And I think it's like just a nice wrinkle to just say, hey, okay, because you know the characters who are basically the main characters of the stories on this island, you know, Chen and Jonah. When you play Skull Rock, you can meet them, you can recruit them. They each got like a nice small quest that you can do to bring them on board. Yeah. But, you know, if you like that character, you play Ship Graveyard, you learn a lot more about Jonah and what makes him tick. And the same for Chen here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So I think we are done for today. If you have some last question, ask them now. Otherwise, we will come back in probably 2 weeks. Normally we stream every 2 weeks. So yeah, I have to think about which person I can invite for the next stream. So maybe you can also give us ideas what you want to hear about of the game. So maybe more design stuff, art stuff, maybe more about QA or whatever. So of all the different parts, maybe of the animations. You can give us ideas what you wanna hear more about.
That's totally fine. We have people with thousands of hours in this game.
We already had Calvin with his speedrun in the stream, of course, talking about QA stuff and doing the speedrun at the same time. So thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much to you for being here in the stream, talking about so much cool stuff. And
thank you, Linny, for answering questions.
Yeah, and of course.
I'll see you at Gamescom, sure.
Oh, yeah. We are at Gamescom. Maybe something I can already talk about to our core community who's here. If you're at Gamescom, our whole team is at Gamescom. We will announce it on our social sites and on Discord and so on. So if you want to meet us, say hello. Maybe we have a small something for you. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, you can come to us. Just say hello. You will recognize us because we are a bunch of people wearing Corsair Cove shirts, I guess. So yeah. Okay. Then thank you so much. See you next time. And have a nice week, a nice weekend, and a lot of fun playing Corsair Cove, of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.